Your Chicago mayor doesn't want to help, he can step aside. But if he impedes us, if he knowingly harbors and conceals an illegal alien, I will prosecute him.
President-elect Trump's new border czar says mass deportation efforts will begin right here in Chicago and issues a warning to Mayor Johnson.
And that's not all. He had harsh words for others, the mayor, as well as Governor J.B. Pritzker.
Sylvia Perez joins us now with more.
Yeah, his name is Tom Homan, and he's Trump's hand-picked man for border czar. He recently spoke at a Northwest Side GOP holiday party that you just saw and told the crowd he plans on verifying the status of asylum seekers and, as you heard, arresting anyone who is found harboring migrants who they are looking for, including Chicago's own mayor. He called out both Johnson and Governor Pritzker, saying he wants to meet with them, but the invitation came with some harsh words.
Chicago's in trouble because your mayor sucks and your governor sucks.
Now, we spoke with Chicago Alderman Ray Lopez, who met with Homan privately. He says the messaging may have been too harsh, but Pritzker and Johnson should be working with the federal government to deport migrants who are breaking the law.
If you are here and undocumented and trying to go about your business, then let's figure something out. But if you are here choosing to engage in gang activity, murder, drugs, prostitution, human trafficking, or sex crimes against minors, then absolutely, your number has come.
Governor Pritzker's office had this to say about Homan's comments. It is no secret that Illinois will face countless baseless attacks over the next 4 years from the Trump administration. Rather than responding to every ridiculous boast from Trump lackeys, Governor Pritzker is focused on what he was focused on during the first Trump term, leading our state with competence instead of chaos. Homan, by the way, was acting director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement during Trump's first administration and is known as the architect of the Trump administration's zero-tolerance policy.
We're strong proponents of segregation. The black press has played an integral role in the transformation of our city here in Chicago, but as well as our country and our world. We're going to be prepared as a city if he decides to actually arrive in Chicago to make sure that the nastiness and the iniquitous formation that he brings, that doesn't stain the soul of Chicago. There are a number of individuals who have not accepted the results of the Civil War. And I've been saying that for a year, and it is very evident that here is someone who is making overtures to dictatorship. Announcing that people won't have to vote again in 4 years is a clear signal that he has all the intentions to take this country back to a very dark
between so-called sanctuary cities and the incoming Trump administration heating up right here in Chicago. Now, on the campaign trail, Donald Trump promised mass deportations of millions of undocumented migrants. He promised to close the southern border with Mexico and to end birthright citizenship. He's also threatened to withhold funding from sanctuary states. Now, Chicago's mayor vows the city will continue to shield all migrants in spite of Trump's threats.
The incoming administration is not just a threat to Chicago, but a threat to what is sensible about this country. And as mayor of the city of Chicago, we're not going to bend or break or cower to someone's threat. We're going to stand up and unite around our shared values, and they have my assurance that I'm going to protect the families of this city.
All right, so since late 2022, more than 51 million migrants have come into Chicago, and the city has spent more than $574 million to house, feed, and care for them. So joining me now is Chicago journalist and host of the Chicago Files, William J. Kelly. William, thank you so much for your time on this. So we heard from Mayor Brandon Johnson there. How much power does Chicago's mayor really have if it does come down to a local versus federal standoff?
Chicago's a sanctuary city, but that doesn't mean that the federal government cannot send in ICE agents to remove illegal aliens, especially if they've committed crimes. They just won't have the assistance of Chicago police officers. The people of Chicago that I'm talking to, including Black and Brown people, communities, say that they feel that we've been generous enough with illegal aliens, that they feel that they've suffered as a result, and they're hoping that Donald Trump will, in fact, reverse Chicago's sanctuary city status, and that Chicago's days as a sanctuary city are coming to an end.
Yeah, and William, as you pointed out there, I mean, being here in the city, there really are so many opinions on this topic. Now, we know that Trump's pick for border czar, Tom Homan, has said that he would recommend that federal funds be stripped from cities that don't assist with those federal immigration agents. If that happens, William, what could it mean for a sanctuary city like Chicago?
Well, as you probably know, Chicago's already $1 billion or more in debt. Mayor Johnson is getting pushed back at a special city council meeting today on his proposed $300 million property tax increase, which is, I called it out essentially as a migrant tax, because that's about the exact number to the penny that he's paid out to just one of the migrant vendors at the Inner Chicago and some of the other, not to mention all the other migrant vendors. So this is, if Mayor Johnson thinks that he's going to push back on Donald Trump's historic mandate to close the border and secure cities like Chicago, I think he's going to find out that that's not going to work out and very well for him.
And William, there's still so many questions over, how this mass deportation would work, what it would cost. But even if Donald Trump does fail to fully enforce some of his campaign promises, what could the threat of it happening mean for the immigrant population, both legal and illegal?
Well, I think that we are living in some kind of an historic time. If you study history, you will see that there have been mass deportations at other times in history, including the United States history. Eisenhower had, I think, the most, at least up until now, the greatest mass deportation in American history. So, this is definitely something that's doable if you have a federal government, a president, and the ICE agents that are eager and willing to do it, which it appears as though that is exactly what